Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this session, bringing peace back to Europe. For almost 4 years, the war in Ukraine has been destabilizing our entire continent, raising profound questions about our stability, our security, and Europe's relationship with its eastern neighbors. To discuss about this essential topic, it's a great honor to welcome Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, the leader of Belarusian democratic movement. She's head of United Transitional Cabinet. Since the rigged election in 2020, she has embodied the democratic will and resilience of Belarusian society that continues to stand for freedom and democracy in the face of repression by the Lukashenko's regime. Sviatlana's family was directly and strongly affected by this repression because her husband was jailed, and after that, Sviatlana decided to present her candidacy for the presidential election in 2020, and it is considered that she won. Mrs. Tikhanovskaya, dear Sviatlana, thank you for being with us today. Beyond resistance, you also carry a European vision for Belarus, and your perspective is very important for us. We will explore this topic together, and then we will take some questions from our audience. My first question is about the global picture and about your comprehension of peace. Through three means we can achieve the peace in Ukraine, you think? Economic, political, diplomatic, or only military? And looking ahead, even we have a ceasefire in Ukraine, and that it's still a large challenge. But can the peace be sustainable with authoritarian regimes in Moscow and in Kiev that denies frontier, borders, international law, sovereignty of neighboring countries?
So first of all, thank you to all those who are present. It means that peace in our region is important for you, the same as peace is important for Belarusians and for Ukrainians. First of all, I have to say that peace is not just absence of bombs or tanks. You know, peace is about justice, it's about security, it's about responsibility, actually. And that's why I'm from the country that's directly involved in this war because of the actions of Lukashenko's regime. Belarus became a country co-aggressor. And now Belarusian territory infrastructure is provided to the Russians to continue the attacks on Ukraine, provocations on the European borders. So when we talk about peace in our region, we don't have to exclude Belarus from this security architecture, because without free and democratic Belarus, there will be constant threats to our European neighbors. And to achieve the peace, first of all, we have to bring perpetrators to account, because now dictators feel impunity. They see any hesitation of Europe, first of all, as weakness, and they constantly undermine your security. They test in their red lines, how far they can go without any response. So we Belarusian people believe in powerful democratic world. Democracy has instruments to stop dictators, to stop the wars, but maybe you need some boldness, some bravery, and not only talks, you know, but act as well. So you have instruments to punish dictators through economic pressure, through diplomatic tools, also through supporting all those people who are fighting against dictators, and just talking to dictators sometimes is not the best way, you know, to solve the crises. We have to talk to people, we have to support those who are on your side, who want to achieve peace in the region. So peace is not always about dictators or dealing with dictators. Peace is also about talking to people themselves, to the nations.
Thank you very much, Sviatlana. My second question is about the evolution of Europe. How do you see it? Since the beginning of war, Europe is profoundly transformed. Europe is more geopolitical, more about security, and more militarized even. Do you think this transformation is in the nature of Europe? Do you think this transformation is sustainable? And do you think we are going quickly enough in this way? And how can we reconcile this new Europe with the changing nature of transatlantic relation? Because the Trump administration can pose some challenges to Europe. Do we need to think about European security and peace in Europe without Americans?
It's evidently that the war of Russia against Ukraine changed everything. You know, Europe too long lived in peace and comfort, and maybe we all thought that the war is our past. And now we live in like new world where such countries as Russia, they undermining this security architecture of Europe, and it became evident that we have to prepare for possible escalations. And I really welcome and greet these efforts to increase military power in the European Union, because dictators are unpredictable. We don't know what are on their minds. You know, the problem of Russia is that they don't know where their borders are. They think that Ukraine, Belarus, Moldova, and other post-Soviet Union countries, we are still the members of this USSR, and they treat us as naughty children who decided to choose their future by ourselves. We, Belarusians, feel as Europeans. Ukrainians want to be part of Europe. Moldova, excellent example. Georgians, Armenians, we want to choose our future, you know, and no one has right to just, you know, pull us back into this Soviet Union past. And Baltic countries, Lithuania, Latvia, you know, they also were part of the USSR. Maybe Russia thinks that these countries also belong to Russia. So nobody knows which country will be next that Russia think to attack, because you are ours. So, so that's why we need to become stronger from a military point of view, but also from resilience point of view. And, you know, very often military power is senseless when you don't have people who are ready to defend your values, who are ready to defend your country. So that's why, again, I want to underline how it's important to invest into people, into those people who directly defend their future, like Belarusians or Ukrainians, but also in your societies. Because we see how propaganda working very hard, you know, to poison the minds of your people. They just try to persuade you that you don't have to help others, you have to cherish also only what you have. But fight against dictatorship is not a local one. It's a global one, and it's really necessary to support and show solidarity with those people who are on the front line of this fight against dictatorship. And of course, from our point of view, this transatlantic unity is essential, because you are, for us, you are democratic world that we want to join. And of course, now we see maybe difference in approaches. When President Trump came to power, we see that his policy is more transactional. He wants fast successes. He wants fast peace. But for us, Europeans, it's necessary to understand that only long-lasting and just peace is real peace. It's not just talking to dictators or dealing with dictators. It's about more stable peace. And that's why while the USA, you know, trying to talk to dictators, maybe to appease them, trying to maybe re-educate them, we Europeans understand that dictators don't need peace. They need wars, because wars fuels fuels repressions, you know, justify repressions. And just to stop this geopolitical crisis in our region, we need systematic and irreversible changes. Both in Belarus and Ukraine, also Georgia, Moldova, you know, all our countries. So that's why I ask Europe to be principled, on your positions to use all your economic, political instruments to stop dictators. Dictators cannot be re-educated, they can only be fought, and they understand only the language of power and strength.
Thank you very much, Sviatlana. It's a very strong position. My following question is about the relationship between the European Union and Eastern neighborhood. And the question is double. Firstly, in your view, is the European Union offering enough to its European partners, both in terms of tangible European perspective and effective cooperation? And on the other side, and you started to speak about that, how Eastern neighbors can play a more constructive role to bring peace and contribute to a more stable Europe?
For sure, all those countries who want to become part of European Union or actually return to European family of countries, as in case of Belarus, we have to understand that we are welcomed in your family. On the example of Belarus, I can just explain that for 30 years of Lukashenko's dictatorship, Belarusians never had choice. Lukashenko served to Putin's interests. You know, Lukashenko is actually selling our independence and sovereignty to Russia, and we never had option, either Russia or something else. We never thought maybe that Europe holds its doors open for us. And since 2020, when Belarusian people won elections and said they decisive no to Belarusian regime, I'm so grateful to European Union that you at last started to talk that Belarusians, you are welcomed in our family. You are Europeans, and we want you to return to your roots. And it's really encouraging. You know, I see how this message is inspiring people and give them energy to continue the fight. We need to have alternative to Russian world, especially after 2022, when the war has started. And Belarusian people immediately started to protect Ukraine as much as we could by stopping Russian trains going to Ukraine, or sabotaging different, pro-Russian activities in Belarus. We showed that we are on the side of Ukraine and on the side of Europe. So that's why I ask European world to give this hope to people that you're Europeans, and we not just have to talk. We have to work on clear roadmaps of these steps, how Belarus and other countries can enter European Union, and be proactive. We see on the example of Moldova, where Russia wanted to interfere into the elections, like President Macron visited Moldova. So many leaders of Europe came to support Maia Sandu and pro-democratic society, and they won. We saw that Russia is not almighty. When Europe is proactive, when Europe is working in this country, so Russia will be defeated. The same in other regions. The same in now Armenia showed the decisive eagerness, to step in European Union, be active there, support Belarusians as well. We have to look on Belarus not only from humanitarian point of view, where repressions are going on, where thousands of political prisoners, where people have to flee Belarus because of repressions. We have to show to Belarusians that, look, we are on your side now and after. That there will be after Lukashenko era, after Lukashenko time, and you will not be abandoned, you will not be forgotten, you are not alone. And we are not asking Europe to fight instead of us. And Ukrainians are not asking Europe to be on the battlefield, but we are asking you for help. Technical assistance, solidarity, just to show that you are not alone, you are not one-to-one with this Russian beast, that we support your right to choose your future yourselves. And believe me, it will be huge boost of energy given to nations who are fighting against imperial ambitions of Russia.
You often say that Europe must talk to Belarusian society, not to the regime. But how to circumvent authoritarian regimes negotiating peace? And again, Trump's policy can be challenging on this topic. Last summer, Special American Envoy Kit Kellogg went to Minsk And after this visit, Lukashenko released a few political prisoners, including your husband, Sergei Tikhanovsky. What can be Europe's reaction if the new US negotiation lead to the end of isolation of Lukashenko's regime and the lifting of some sanctions? How to deal with that?
So first of all, of course, it's very necessary to distinguish Belarusian regime and Belarusian people. I see that we very often forget now that we, Belarusians, won elections in 2020. Lukashenko is an illegitimate person in Belarus. He seized power only thanks to brutality, repressions, and support of Putin. But again, I understand 5 years passed, but Lukashenko is still illegitimate. You, on papers, you declared that you don't recognize his legitimacy. Why? I already hear some voices. Maybe we have started talking to Lukashenko. We made this mistake several times through all this 30 years history. Lukashenko will always try to fool democratic world, to fool Europeans. And very often, talking about Belarus, we see Lukashenko and that's it. But we don't see the most precious of Belarus, its nation. It's our people who want changes, people who want justice, who want to be reliable partners to you, not the constant threat to our neighbors. How can we talk to a person who is undermining stability, who is threatening Poland, Lithuania, and other countries, who are making provocations on the borders, from which territory drones are flying to Poland, for example, or now these balloons with the cigarettes that are disrupting the work of airports. It will be constant provocations. While Lukashenko is there, that is supported by Putin. Why we Europeans have to talk to such people? We have to use all the instruments available to punish them, to show that we are not ready to we are not ready to work with you only because you are using these ugly instruments. I'm sure democracy is much more powerful than maybe you think sometimes about democracy. But you have to make your institutions and your instruments to work in full. For example, let's take sanctions. Sanctions are not changing dictators, but they making dictators to change behavior, to come to concessions. But if there are so many loopholes in the sanctions that they are finding ways to circumvent sanctions, or for example, more than a year and a half there are no new sanctions on Belarusian regime. Okay, they think that Europeans cannot use all the available instruments, and it creates this feeling of impunity. Okay, we can go further and further. We can blackmail you with a nuclear weapon. We will deploy, I don't know, Russian military bases in Belarus. And if there is no answer, economic answer to this, so it's possible to do for dictators. So that's why, on the one hand, we have to punish regime to show that we are not going, to deal with you. We are working with people who want changes, people who really represent desires and moods of Belarusian people. That's why when you are showing, when you are strengthening agents of democratic forces of Belarus, when you are contributing to free media who are countering propagandistic messages, when you are supporting human rights defenders who support political prisoners, Belarusian people see it and they understand that these are our partners, who want to help us. So, and we feel energy. Believe me, it's so difficult to realize that, okay, Belarus is not in focus, that Belarusian fight is abandoned. It's really make people to go underground, not to be very active, because what can we do alone against dictators? But when we feel your energy, when we feel your support, it really fuels us, and we are not stopping. And I'm so grateful to Belarusian people that despite all the repressions and threats in Belarus, it's really huge challenges for our citizens. Belarusian people are continuing to fight undergroundly in Belarus. There are so many people in nomenclatura, in Lukashenko's circles, who also, of course, want changes. They cannot say it, publicly, because it's years and years in prison after this. But they help us with information. They give us insights, for example, how sanctions are circumvented, or how the regime is earning money on Ukrainian, on the blood of Ukrainian, helping Russia with military production. So this is form of resistance as well. And when you invest into people, just think that it's not charity, it's investment into your security as well, into your future as well.
It's a very important point. I see that we have less than 5 minutes left, and I will open the floor for some short, please, questions from our audience. Is there a micro? My question is for organizers. We have one question. Try to go without micro. Yeah, please. Please. Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Not really. It will be easier. I will give you my micro.
Okay, just two very short questions. Firstly, about the nature of the conflict. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine isn't just a conflict between two nations, but actually is a challenge to a rule-based international order. So in my opinion, when we talk about the reason to support Ukraine, we should emphasize the necessity to protect a rule-based international order. This isn't just a war in order to defeat imperialist power who is trying to impose its power on Ukraine. This war is about to protect our international basis rule, but actually I am not seeing anything like that in I am not seeing this in the political process in Europe. I am always seeing people who talk about why are we financing a war in Ukraine when we have our problems at home. So in my opinion, we should emphasize this aspect of the conflict. Secondly, in my opinion, it's a mistake to portray the conflict between Russia and Ukraine as a war between dictatorship and democracy, because our world is much variegated. We have a lot of regimes and states and societies who don't share European values. There are different forms of democracies, different forms of government. A lot of countries see an external invasion as a threat, not a dictatorship or a non-democratic government as a threat. So in my opinion, we should present our war in Ukraine, the war between Ukraine and Russia, as a war for protect national sovereignty, not democracy. Democracy is only a form of government. Nations is another thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very clear question.
Yeah, of course, we don't have to treat the war of Russia against Ukraine as the war between two nations. It's much, much broader. It's actually the war between Russia or dictator with the democratic world. And it's not war between, it's not war of politicians only. Now all democratic societies are responsible for the results of this war. And I ask democratic societies to support your leadership when they're trying to help Ukrainians with everything Ukraine needs to win, because defeat of Ukraine will be defeat of at least European Union, because we, Belarus and Ukrainians, are on the front line of this fight against dictatorship. And as I said before, nobody knows which country will be next for Russia. It might be yours. And now don't please let propaganda, to poison your minds that there are easy solutions to difficult questions. No, it's media, technological companies. Ordinary people have to contribute into peace, into victory, actually, of Ukraine, because Russia's ambitions are endless. They will continue to test your borders, to test your resilience, to test your people, and we lose when we think that we are losing. Just believe in yourselves. You are so powerful. You are so strong. Through transatlantic unity, through this transatlantic unity, we really can defeat dictators and give the lesson or example to other dictators. So no, you will not be allowed, to invade, to come with your dictatorship laws in our countries. So don't treat Ukraine as, it's their war, or don't think that Belarusian topic is only Belarusian one. Again, remember that while dictators are at place, it will be constant threats to you. It will be disruption of your airports. It will be, your life will be not convenient with the dictators nearby. But if you give them a lesson, if you show our boldness, our energy, decisiveness, maybe non-conventional steps, it will be a clear example and message to dictators that you can live in your dictatorship, but don't spill this dictatorship over. I have to say that, dictatorship, maybe we very often don't realize this, people who are living in democracies, that dictatorship is like cancer. It will spread and spread further until it is cut to the very last cell, and it's responsibility of every citizen.
Unfortunately, our time is over, and I can't take another question. I'm sure there are a lot. Sviatlana, thank you so much for this inspiring discussion and your deep and substantial answer. We need more voices, visionary, like yours. Thank you very much.